one man, one woman? What does the Quran teach? Does the Quran teach that a Muslim man can have more than one wife? Talk to me. Yes, it does. Take up to 4. But then the Quran says, one is better for you if you but knew. Now some of the sisters say, I don't like that kind of teaching. I don't like that. Now you was with me and I was with you up until you made that statement. Well, let's talk about it. How many of you sisters are like widows? You got children, but you have no man. The man that you thought you had has abandoned you with babies, and you are there eating yourself into bad health, looking at soap operas, wondering how life could be if you only had a good man. Wait. Elijah Muhammad knew that we had good potential, but we were a long way from being good men. He lived the life that he taught us until a certain time in his development, he took wives. Is this bad? Is it, wait. Is it immoral? Is it evil? Is it ugly? Is it sin? Let's look at it. How many of you are acquainted with the Bible and the prophet's history? How many wives did Abraham have? Come on, now, let's talk now. Abraham, was he called the father of the righteous? Muslims, when we pray, do we mention Abraham's name? Is Abraham not considered to us the father of the righteous? In the Christian tradition, is he not considered the friend of God? In the Jewish tradition, is he not considered the friend and the beloved of God? But he had 2 wives. One was called Sarah. Sarah wasn't able to produce any children at that time. Did Abraham go into Sarah's handmaiden? According to the Bible. What is a handmaiden? Talk to me. You know what a maiden is? A young woman, isn't it? A handmaiden, she was a servant of Abraham's wife. Did he have a child by that woman? She's called Hagar. Is that right? Come on, Muslims. Come on, Christians. Don't go to sleep now. We get into the juicy part. When that baby was produced, the Muslims say the baby's name is Ishmael. The Jews and the Christians from the Bible say his name is Isaac. We're not going to argue whether it's Ishmael or Isaac. We're just dealing with the principle a baby came into existence. And it wasn't Sarah's baby. Sarah got uptight, as you would expect. And Abraham put Hagar out of whose house? Out of his house. In the wilderness. Did he feed her out there? Talk to me. He didn't feed her. Did he clothe her out there? Did he shelter her out there? What was Hagar doing out there? She was running back and forth, seeking help for her and her baby from the hills. And every Muslim has to go back and forth between the Safa and the Marwa, retracing Hagar's path. Is that right? Why not Sarah's path? Why are you retracing Hagar's path? And why is Abraham considered a righteous man when he fathered a baby, according to the Bible, and put the woman out in the wilderness? Didn't live up to his quote-unquote responsibility. God was making Hagar a sign of a people who would be in the wilderness, running to and fro, looking for help, looking to the hills. That means governments to aid you, like you sitting around now waiting for Bill Clinton to send you some bread. And Mr. Clinton went before Congress and said, there ain't no bread in the storehouse. We are nearly $4 trillion, $200 billion in debt. We got to raise taxes and cut federal spending. You heard him, didn't you? That means you can't go to Washington with your basket looking for some bread because there ain't none there. Now God put that on Hagar so that Hagar would learn to rely on a power bigger than Abraham. And look at these black women out here with no man producing babies. And you wonder how these babies are getting fed. But every one of these sisters that got babies and no man, they know that God is real. Because the only way they could be here and their children grow is that a God fed them in the wilderness, just like God looked after Hagar in the wilderness. So now if you were a contemporary of Abraham, how would you have judged Abraham? According to the Bible, Lot was entertaining these angels, and the homosexuals came and said, look man, you know, we see them handsome angels up in there. And Lot said, hey, wait, check out my daughters. They said, we don't want your daughters. We sing, well, we and the book said God was so angry, he brought down fire and destruction on Sodom and Gomorrah. And right to this day, not even a blade of grass grows in Sodom. How angry God was against that kind of behavior. It's running rampant today, isn't it? I'm not here to put down anybody who's a homosexual. Anybody in this audience who is a lesbian or quote-unquote gay. It's not our duty to put down anybody because all of us are sinners. And none of us living up to the glory of God. But I'm only pointing out a behavior that God disapproves of. And if I were Bill Clinton, I would take a moral position and encourage those who are gay to find the strength to retrieve their natural way. I know what you're saying. I'm really a woman in a man's body, trapped, and I'm trying to get out and express myself. Or I'm a man hooked up in this woman's body. You can tell that to a fool. You can't tell that to somebody who's been taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad the science of these things. I hope to write something in a book that I am writing on what I believe is at the root of this behavior and what we can do to start coming back to what God requires of us. But I'm going to leave that alone. I just wanted to point out something in the life of the prophets. How many wives did Moses have? You can't even answer. You keep talking about Moses and Pharaoh. Do you know Moses had a domestic life? You don't even know how many wives he had, do you? That ain't interesting. Do you know when God chooses a prophet, he don't stop at the prophet. What does he choose? The seed of the prophet. If God finds favor with you, or you find favor with God, he's not only in love with you physically, he knows you're going away. He chooses you and his covenant is not only with you, but with your offspring, your seed. Do you know that the seed of a prophet is chosen by God, and that seed is to be multiplied? Do you understand that? Why did the prophets have more than one wife?